Forgot where my microphone was. And I've been super mega dosing vitamin C for the past week, and I've been running around like a spring bunny on crack, just full of energy. Man, I haven't felt this good in a long time. I like these Pythagorean alligator and buffalo wallets that I'm working on making. This one's sewn up, and even only so partially. So I'm thinking I got baby blue alligator. You know, it's pretty hard to find baby blue alligators out in the wild. The neon blue ones are even harder to find. I'm sorry about that. I couldn't resist. It's amazing what it takes to make a quality piece of leather goods. I knew things would start escalating after Christmas really hard and fast, but they're actually escalating a lot faster than that. There's some things that I was sent, most of which I can confirm, that's just so heinous that I can't even talk about it in video. There is one link I'd actually like you to see below, and it's from the same guy that did the interview. It's called Unheard, I believe. Anyway, the video link is below. You should see it. The lady, the young woman that did it has video evidence where she recorded it, where she's in one of those concentration camps. I'm sorry, I meant quarantine camps. Let's get to that in a second. The second half of this, I need confirmation on. A few Greeks sent me this. The first part is confirmed, that if you're 60 or older, there's a €100 fine every month if you don't get the juice. And I was told that the average pensioner is making €500 a month, so that's 1/5 of their income. And if you refuse to pay it for more than 5 months, 2 Greeks told me this. I don't have confirmation of this. But since I had 2 separate Greeks telling me this, I assume that's true, but I'm not going to confirm it, that they take your house. So after 5 months, they're going to take your house away. Isn't that special? And, oh my God. Austria has gone full bore. Österreich ist gefallen. Let me repeat that again for German speakers out there. Österreich ist gefallen. I had a bunch of Germans tell me about 2.5 weeks ago, roughly, that things, you think Austria is going, off the bus is going off the edge of the cliff. Wait till you hear what happens in Germany. And that's exactly what's happening. Let's talk about that in just a second here. There was an escape, apparently 3 escapees from a quarantine camp in Australia. And for people that have committed no crimes, done nothing wrong, weren't infected, even if they were, human rights violation. Anyway, they escaped. So you'd think that they were like on death row, like hardened criminals on death row. So the police in Australia put up roadblocks and helicopters and all for 3 people who were unlawfully imprisoned. Now, you could call a prison a low-star or no-star resort facility, but it's still a prison. If you're taking people and violating their human rights and sticking them somewhere where they don't want to be, they don't belong, and is a violation of human rights, calling it it's a prison. Now, I'm not shaking my finger at Australia, obviously so if you don't know history. The United States did that back in World War II. They had the Japanese internment camps. Completely wrong then. And it's a lot more wrong now, and the reason why it's more wrong now is that people, and I know people are not, people think, we're better advanced than those old folks were. It's like we're not. We got more technological toys, but people are actually more unintelligent and more unwise, especially, which is paramount importance of the atrocities that human beings are capable of. Atrocities are obviously always committed by people that are highly intelligent but extremely unwise, i.e. fools. And people today are big, big, big fools. Even more so than they were back when the Americans unjustly interred all those Japanese people in internment camps. So Australia is doing something as bad, if not slightly worse, depending on how you look at it, as America did back then with the Japanese internment camps. Absolutely horrific. False imprisonment, crime against humanity. I'm not commenting on that. You tell me what. You tell me what you think on that one. Someone needs to point out this video in the link below. The Aussie Cossack. Send him a message in Avi Yemeni down there. Point them to this girl, and it doesn't have to be this girl specifically because it's happening to a lot of people. It's on the Unheard. I think that's the name of the YouTube channel. The Unheard. Anyway, the Unheard YouTuber is interviewing this young girl. She looks like she's in peak physical condition. She's this drop-dead gorgeous girl. Looks like she's in perfect physical health. She tested negative. It doesn't matter if she tested positive. I'll leave that up to you. She tested negative every time. They just hauled her away. They said they're either fined her $5,000, which she doesn't have the money for, or they're going to haul her away to the camp. And I'm sorry, I got a finger to shake at her and the rest of Australians that have that mindset, because Americans don't. Some Americans do, where you find that sort of go along to get along mindset. You'll find that like in, I don't know, New York, Chicago, LA, some other places, but you won't find that in most of America. We just will not put up with that whatsoever. We'll not put up with that. Anyway, the woman had video. One of them's her feet propped up at the quarantine camp where she was unlawfully imprisoned. An internment camp, let's call it what it is. It's like, oh, if you step over that line, we're going to extend your stay, another 2 weeks. We're going to fine you $5,000. You got to put on a chin diaper if you step over that yellow line, which is on the front porch of her tiny little quarantine camp cubicle. There's all these fences around, and she's filming it on her iPhone, and she did save those videos, so they made it out of the Australian. And she is in Darwin. I don't know if you know where Darwin is at, but it's on the arse end of nowhere in Australia. It would be like going in the middle of Death Valley, Utah. I mean, I know Death Valley's in California, but part of it extends into Arizona, I believe. The most remote nowheresville of nothing. Not that Darwin's that bad, but I mean, it's far and removed from basically everything on Australia. So it happened in Darwin. Most Americans don't know where Darwin is. You have to see this. It's the Aussie compliance with this totalitarianism. You have to see that video in the link below. The worst part of this story is that she went along with it. The same as countless other Australians are and will do. Shame on the Australian government for doing something horrible to somebody that was not infected, kept testing negative, kept threatening this poor young, she looks 25 or something like that. Perfect physical health, like she's Typhoid Mary, except way worse. Just treating her like a dog and threatening her. Shame on the people that did that to her, but shame on her also, and countless other Australians for going along with that. This stuff will only continue so long as people let it continue. It's not my opinion, and I'm not telling anybody what to do or not to do. It's none of my business. I'm not saying anybody do anything or not do anything. But when you're completely innocent and you have nothing wrong with you, I mean, it's just insanity. It's absolute totalitarian, radical insanity. There's no other way you could slice it. And there's not a chance in hell that if you have 5 brain cells, you can't have 5 brain cells or more and disagree with me on that statement. Super fit, super healthy, gorgeous. It doesn't matter if she's gorgeous or not, or young or old, or even not in great shape. You're going to threaten her and throw her away in an internment camp, which is exactly what it is. You can call it a quarantine camp. You can call it all sorts of stuff you want. It's a prison. She's got the video proof in that video. She shows it. It cuts away to the video that she recorded. That is absolute, hardcore, pure, demonic evil. There's just no other way to cut it, and there's not 2 sides to that. There's not 2 sides. Well, that's your side, or that's her side. It's just, we don't want to take... No, you can't say that. You can't say that. She always tested negative from start to... even if she didn't, it's still totalitarian. Always perfectly healthy, tested negative the whole time. treat her like a dog, stick her in a prison, constantly threaten her with these huge fines that this poor young girl, I'm sure, doesn't have the money for. There is no two sides to this. We can't argue another side. Don't even try it with me. You can't try it with anybody. You can't have 5 brain cells. Well, there's another side to that. No, there's not. There's not another side to it. There's just not. Not on that, there's not. I just got this text, one of countless that I've received from other parts of Canada. Hello, Ken. I'm a Canadian, and I can't go to restaurants or movies anymore, or travel by air or by bus or by train because he's not juiced. Free country, my arse. I've received countless emails and texts like that from Canada. I've heard a lot of bad stuff out of Canada. A lot, just like that. And it's confirmed. There's a story out of an Australian hospital that a lot of people sent me. I don't have confirmation from it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's so horrible that I can't talk about it, and I don't have first-hand confirmation of it. But if it's true, and all indications are that it's just beyond horrific. I wished I could talk about it, but I don't have confirmation, and even if I did, it's just... Germany has completely, this is totally confirmed, and out of Deutschland. As someone that's half German, I can make a comment about Germany. Let me assume that, yeah. Guten Abend, Damen und Herren, Frau und Mädchen. Yeah. The unjuiced people across Deutschland will soon be excluded from non-essential stores. In other words, anything that makes life enjoyable. Restaurants, sports, cultural venues, movies, blah, 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 trains, rail, anything that involves, you paying taxes and you enjoying a halfway decent life. Angela Merkel announced Thursday as Parliament considered general juice mandate to curb infections. Okay, it's interesting. Yeah, okay, sounds... Yeah, Germany learned nothing from World War II. Let me repeat that again. Deutschland learned nothing from World War II, apparently. And I can say that as someone that's German. Merkel announced the measures after meeting with federal and state legislators, blah, 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 totalitarianism, blah, 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 dictatorial, monarch, totalitarianism, blah, blah, blah. It's ramping up fast. It's ramping up faster than I expected. I knew it would ramp up fast. I told people this was coming, and it is. If you thought 2021 was bad, and I'm not a doom and gloomer, I'm absolutely not. And I don't want any of this to come to pass. I really don't. We got the new Timbuktu variant, and the next will be the Bada Bing variant. It's not going to end. But the good news is if people grew a pair, it would end overnight. But people won't, because most people are sheep. Bah! Bah! They're sheep. It's going hardcore in Austria, it's going hardcore in Germany, hardcore in the Netherlands. A couple people were snuffed on the street by the cops. There's video proof of that. I don't know how many hundreds of people sent me the video of those 2 people in Rotterdam that were... And even though the video was at night, it was undeniably obvious that there was anything those guys were doing that deserved them to have their life ended by the police. We need context. There's another side to that. No, there's not. No, there's not. There's not another side to what's going on in Australia either. I'm sorry, you're going to take some 25, whatever age she is, girl, and throw her in prison and threaten. She's got the video proof of them threatening her. It's just not like, it's her hearsay. No, she's got the proof. There have been other people confirm it. It's not like she's the only one. It's like, oh my God, what a shocker! I didn't know what's going on. Unless you've had your head up a dark place, or you've been watching, the media of Australia. Man, I've seen a lot of Australian media, and it is so horrifically. As someone who lived in Soviet Russia, Sovietskого Союза, Soyuz neresim. I listened to some hardcore propaganda living in Leningrad, which is now St. Petersburg. Living on the, what was it? It was the 8th floor. The Gostiniца Metallurg. Yeah. Metallurgical hotel. In other words, it was like a real cut budget place. I've seen and listened to a lot of hardcore Sovietsky propaganda, yeah, and it doesn't hold a candle to the stuff that comes out of Australia's mainstream media. It's shocking. It's like, wow, I never heard anything this bad, even living in Russia. And I really do mean that. I don't mean that jokingly. I actually mean that. So, Australia now is doing Japanese internment camps like America stupidly did back in World War II, except this time it's directed at their own people, the Australian citizens. Yeah, we're going to lock you up for no good reason. You know, you tested negative just a second ago, but we're going to throw you in this prison camp. But we're not going to call it prison camp. We're going to call it a quarantine facility. We're going to constantly threaten you. You know, you're going to be isolated for no good reason. Yeah, because we got nothing better to do. You know, there's no logic. There's not another side to that story. There is not another side. Australia, there's not another side to that story. You cannot argue it. You can't have 5 brain cells and say, there's another side to that. You're only representing one side. Sure I am. You think I'm stupid? Fat, bald, and tattooed, but stupid I am not. Not only that, I'm not a fool. I'm also incredibly wise. I am fat, bald, and ugly, though. Not very ugly, but moderately so. Stupid? No, definitely not a fool. And as someone that's half German, this stuff is spreading like wildfire across all of Europe. It's in Canada, hardcore. It's in Austria, hard. Australia, the Netherlands, Deutschland. France is doing it quietly, but not so quietly. I mean, they're protesting every day in France. It's so bad. It tells you something. Big numbers, too. That's actually what they want. But that's a matter for another video that I'm never going to make. That's exactly what they want. And I told you accurately what's going to happen. I've said it twice before. They got their grip around your neck, not literally, but essentially. They're going to loosen it, and then they're going to grip it tighter. And then they're going to let loose a little bit, some. And then they're going to grip it tighter, because it's called stage escalation. You can't actually do this number initially, because what you meet with is hard, fast resistance. It's the same way you cook a frog in water. Not that I've ever done that. It's been a horrific scientific experiment. You stick a frog in lukewarm water on the stove, and you turn it up high. You stick him on boiling water, jump right out. You stick him in the lukewarm water, you turn the gas on a little bit, and let it get warmer and warmer, and it's just stay in there and cook himself. Now, if I were evil and I were planning this is exactly what I would do, what's going on right now. But if you want to argue with me that sticking perfectly healthy 20-year-old chicks in prison and threatening them with enormous fines that they can't pay is somehow logical, well, you go right ahead. Then when I read your comment, I'm going to go, ha ha ha! You're so stupid. Ask me again why I got a cabin in the woods and why I've been preparing for years. By the way, people say, this is what everybody keeps saying. Before I go, people keep saying, yes, coming to America. There's one big difference between Europe and Australia and America. I'll let you figure out what that is. I'm not going to say. Also has to do with the fact that my forefathers and many other American forefathers not only fought for independence, but we actually did a lot of fighting for our freedoms in between, you know. Bill of Rights, Constitution, a lot of dead people and a lot of cemeteries that fought for our freedoms. And any American with a half a brain and knows 2 ounces of history is not going to, you know, shame their forefathers and turn into a spineless jellyfish in the face of tyranny. Everything that's going on right now is tyrannical. You could argue that that's not the case. Of course, that's my subjective position on this, which I shouldn't have expressed in this video. But it is tyrannical. It's evil, it's totalitarian, and I know who's behind it. I'm not going to say, but you know exactly who's behind it. But it is ramping up fast. Even today, El Presidente de Estados Unidos, yeah, El Presidente, yeah. Oh, I know about that much Spanish, yeah. My buddies call me El Mero Mero, right? Some of them call me El Gordo too, but El Presidente de Estados Unidos said, looking in really hard at juicing those under 5 years old. Now, I'm not going to make a comment on this one way or the other. But I find it fascinating that him and some group of entities are looking deeply, you know, with a monocle, deeply into how to get children under 5 years old juiced. Yes, I find that comment extremely interesting, and I use the word interesting very specifically because it could go either way when you say interesting. Well, under 5, okay. Oh, okay, well, it's interesting. Yeah, okay. I read every comment, so tell me what you think. I am an information sponge. You know, like SpongeBob SquarePants? You know, he's the sponge. I found it interesting to blow it up because he's already in the water. I don't know how he bloats up if he's already in the water. Anyway, I'm an information sponge. I read every comment. So I love hearing factual, empirical data. By the way, please watch that video below. There's another great video from Unheard, the YouTube channel. Kind of a weird name for a YouTube channel. But I guess Theodiopophosis is actually weirder, so. Please watch it. Yeah, you tell me what you think about the young girl imprisoned against her will. Perfectly healthy, by the way, in the Australian internment camp. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant quarantine camp. That's what I meant to say. But she tested positive from the beginning, the middle, and the end. I don't know exactly what she was being quarantined for. You tell me. I won't speculate on that, but make sure you tell me. Bye.